and heartfelt welcome to our esteemed chief guest, Professor Roland Hardenberg, and chief speaker, Dr. Peter Berger. Your distinguished presence among us today elevates this occasion and inspires us to strive for greater academic excellence and intellectual commitment. For now, at this auspicious moment, I feel deeply privileged to invite our esteemed Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, Dr. Nivedita Nath Madam, to deliver the inaugural address. And I would like to request the dignitaries to have place in the dais. I would like to request our Vice Chancellor Madam to felicitate the esteemed dignitaries of the dais. As for now, I feel deeply privileged to invite our esteemed Vice Chancellor Madam, Dr. Nivedita Nath, to deliver the inaugural address.
Jema Manikeshwari, a very good afternoon to one and all present here on this August occasion of celebration of World Anthropology Day 2026. Esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Roland Hardenberg, Chief Speaker, Professor Peter Berger from Germany, HOD Anthropology, Coordinator P.A. Musa, Dr. R.K. Sana, HOD Sociology, Director Academics, Dr. Virendra Suna, Co-Convener, Sri Ashwini Gamango, all the delegates of the dais, faculties of Department of Anthropology and Sociology, students of Department of Anthropology, Sociology, all other faculties, delegates, guests who are present here, persons from media, technical support providers, everyone. I wish all of you here to celebrate World Anthropology Day. And we are celebrating World Anthropology Day here since 4 years. And World Anthropology Day has been, the celebration started from 2015 initially. And it was done by American Anthropological Association. And initially called, it was National Anthropology Day, but it was changed to World Anthropology Day in 2016. And Today, here, it gives me immense pleasure to address as an anthropologist, as the head of the institution, on this celebration of World Anthropology Day, a day that celebrates not merely a discipline, but the way of looking at the world and looking at the people. The theme of World Anthropology Day 2026 is On the Verge, Making Anthropology Practical, Changing the Narrative. That means the practical use of anthropology. Anthropology at its heart is the science of humanity. It teaches us to understand society. We must learn from them, and in order to learn from them, we must listen to them, to the stories whispered through generations, to the rituals encoded with meaning, to the language that carry the soul of the people, and to the silence that speak the historical wounds and resilience. That is anthropology. As an anthropologist, I have always believed that anthropology is not confined to textbooks or laboratories. Rather, anthropology lives in villages, anthropology lives in cities, lives in festivals, lives in funerals, lives in migration, lives in memory. It reminds us that culture is not static, it's dynamic, adaptive, and profoundly creative. In today's rapidly globalizing and technologically driven world, anthropology becomes more relevant than ever, and it corresponds to the theme of World Anthropology Day 2026, On the Verge, Making Anthropology Practical, Changing the Narratives. When artificial intelligence transfers communication, when climate change threatens indigenous habits, and when identities are negotiated across borders, anthropology asks the fundamental questions: how do communities adapt? How do traditions evolve without losing their essence? How do we ensure development without erasing diversity along with sustainability? Anthropology teaches us empathy grounded in evidence. It trains us to observe without prejudice, to analyze without arrogance, and to engage with humility. It bridges the local and global, the past and future, the biological and the culture. Before moving, I would like to read out one of my very favorite poems written by A.F. Khaka, I am not your data. I am not your data, nor I am your vote bank. I am not your project or any exotic museum object. I am not the soul waiting to be harvested, nor I am the lab where your theories are tested. I am not your cannon fodder or invisible worker or entertainment at India Habitat Center. I am not your field, your crowd, your history, your help, your guilt, medalations of your victory. I refuse, I reject, resist your labels, your judgments, your documents, your definitions, your models, your leaders and patrons, because they deny me my existence, my vision, my space. Your words, maps, figures, indicators, they all create illusions and put on pedestal from where you look down upon me. So I draw my own picture and invent my own grammar. I make my own tools to fight my own battle. For me, my people, my world, and my Adivasi self. The poem, I am not your data, I am not your data, close to my heart. On this World Anthropology Day, let us reaffirm our commitment to research that is ethical, inclusive, and socially responsible. Let us encourage our students to go beyond data collection and cultivate cultural sensitivity. Let us remember that every society, no matter how small or marginalized, carries knowledge systems worthy of respect. Today we celebrate not only Anthropology Day, but also communities who teaches us host us, and trust us with their narratives. Without them, our discipline would be incomplete. Let this day inspire us to uphold the core values of anthropology: respect for diversity, commitment to human dignity, and dedication to truth. May we continue to study humanity not as distant observers, I repeat, not as distant observers, but engaged participants striving for a more just and harmonious world. As in the inaugural session, we heard that Professor Roland had stayed 16 months, 6 months among Dongriya Khons, and Professor Peter had stayed 2 years among the Gadabas. So we should learn from them as participant, not as observer. And I'm proud of my anthropology department, the students of my department who are doing extraordinarily good, not only in academics, but also in all extracurricular activities. Last year, they had, drawn extremely well paintings that are still there on the walls of Department of Anthropology. And I'll request our chief guest and chief speaker once to visit the Department of Anthropology and see the wonderful paintings done by the students, and all students had participated, not only the students of Department of Anthropology. So with these words, I wish every one of you a World Anthropology Day, and I'm sure that we will take World Anthropology Department of Mahanikeshwari University to a great height with a teamwork, with cooperation of each other, with support of each other, with hard work and dedication. This is the best place where we can do better anthropology. Thank you so much, our chief guest and chief speaker. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Virendra Suna, convener, head of sociology. We have hijacked few hours from the international seminar to celebrate this World Anthropology Day, as we got two great anthropologists here. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this space. And thank you, Dr. Mahana, for taking the initiative, Dr. Sri Gamango for also providing us this time and opportunity and accepting our request. And not last but not the least, to both the esteemed delegates, Roland sir and Professor Peter. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, madam, for such inspiring words. Now, may I humbly request our esteemed head of Department of Anthropology for addressing the theme of today's academic eve.
Namaskar. As Madam has done the job wonderfully, I won't take much time. Honorable Vice Chancellor, esteemed guest, Professor Roald Hardenberg, Professor Peter Berger, esteemed colleagues, respected convener and co-conveners, my dear faculty members of the department, and other esteemed members present here, dear PhD scholars and students. I had the duty of introducing the Department of Anthropology. Let me be very brief. That in the department there are 8 faculty members, and we have around 200 students who are doing UG, PG and PhD program. And all the faculty members, you will be happy to know that all the faculty members have multiple projects on various themes, including development and social policy like Forest Right Act, then elderly population, Habaspuri study. Then we have cyberbullying and mental health. We have a project on educational complex. And we have also a project on social structure of Kutiakan people and so on and so forth. But to be very quick, anthropology is not merely the study of others, it is also study of ourselves. As Ronald and other people have very clearly said, earlier there was a day when we wanted to represent the marginalized community. Now it's the time to pass the mic to them. So we have differently designed this today's program. So we therefore especially, it's a meaningful day as we are screening a film by 2 internationally renowned anthropologists, Professor Ronald Hardenberg and Peter Berger. Their work reminds us that anthropology is not confined to books and a classroom. It lives in the visual storytelling as well, collaborative research, and a sustained engagement with the communities. Through film, anthropology becomes visible, dialogic, and accessible. With these few words, I am really excited to listen to these great scholars. And I welcome and thank them for being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such inspiring deliberations. Now, for introducing our eminent chief guest and chief speaker, I may like to request Sri Aswino Gumanga, sir, to introduce them. Please, students, be attentive as this is the time to play the screen. This is the time to see the film.
ऑफ कर दिया
The program goes like this. So we'll see the film very carefully. And after that, these two professors, they will be discussing about this film. And they will be talking because we did not have enough opportunity today morning to listen to them. Thank you.
After a few minutes, I interrupt and continue with another part. Okay. Okay? Yeah. And then
In our women affair held at Kaldesani Munda, the ritual culminates with the sapling being taken home before the eventual transplantation. In the way these saplings are cradled and carried, like newborn babies, suggests an intimacy that goes beyond commercialism. This connection between women and crops and how they relate to it is something one frequently sees across these Adivasi communities. It may be the most preferred way, but transplantation is very labor intensive. Extended family, neighbors, friends, and just about any girl or woman in the village who can all show up to lend a hand. As it is with so much else, it really does take a village to transplant paddy. Where almost everyone uses cattle to till their lands, a power tiller isn't something one sees very often in this area. But that's what the village pujari, Babu Sisa, has chosen this year to plow his Bera land, hiding Sogra's newly acquired power tiller. Bera land is usually close to a water body or at least land that has easy access to water. This makes a Bera ideal for cultivating ham. While most families do have Bera land and Pada land in Tawed, almost everyone has Dongar land as well. And almost unanimously, it is what they prefer. Plentiful water, we know, is a prerequisite for paddy, and yet how it is cultivated in many fields in Tawed challenges this notion. The steep slopes of the Dongar is where so many choose to cultivate their dham, where there is not just no easy availability of water, but no flat land to waterlog or feed either. Then how? But it's not just the Dongar dham that doesn't quite conform to the widely held perception of how and where dham should be cultivated.
The post-boom revolution generation has this mental image of a rice field flooded with water, farmers applying chemical fertilizers and using the best quality of land for its cultivation. This land here is this example of rice growing in diverse conditions. This land, where we see the hardest rain on, is called Kada land or the upland. You can see that there are lots of stones on the land and almost no compost or humus, and water does not stay on this land. Rice has adapted itself to different climatic conditions. Rice seeds are diverse. So the major picture of green revolution of the rice field is not the only reality of rice cultivation. Rice also grows in hilltops.
Sadhu Pujari is carrying out a test with a few seeds of what he calls biryani rice, which he likes but hasn't cultivated yet.
इसे पौधा କେତେ କେତେ ବଢ଼ିବ ହଁ
And the flip side of trying something new is the loss of something old. This may be just nostalgia or a little bit more about something not available to them now. But generally, past is a constant presence here.
इनसे से खाइबा ପାଇଁ ଭାତ ନଥିଲା କି ଭାତ ନିକାଲେ ଛୁଆ ମାସ କି ଦାକୁ ଛୁଆ ଚାଲି କି ଦାଲେ 3 दिन ଖାଇ हमर पानी तार खाइ छै बुराई कोई दाल बुराई दाल 3 दिन 7 दिन तार बुराई को खाइ
आगरे कोई खाइबा नोकी लागै छै ने सुतु जाको 15 दिस ए कपड़ा पानी जे कोई जगह दे देबा सेमती हेकि कोन सुनी बोल कोई बेसी मसको कोजा में कोन जगह
हमर माडुरी मुंडे गिलास पानी बोले से मंडिया के इनकी रोड की बात जयपुर रास्ता में बाम आइला सेमती बाम आइला के जाय करी गोटे रास्ता कोई लागे रास्ता को देख रहे हैं बराबर 8 दिन बेचना बाइक में आना वाला हम हेड ना देना इंसान गोला एक लेकर दिया उनकी कला के ऊपर पे ना दे 8 दिन आप के संभाला
Maybe it's because of the sense of loss, maybe it's the memories of past when they had little, but almost everyone has taken to storing grains. They store this in large baskets made of bamboo called kolkis. In some homes, the kolkis are kept in the attic, the outlet.
Kembali saya. Ada cowok bersodo, semua. Ada bisa cowok bersodo, semua. Cowok bersodo, ada malia, panco bersodo. Kamu mama apa namanya? Kamu berjelaskan. Kemudian jangan pilih, cowok pilih. Ini Iswara sama saja. Cowok bersodo. Yang mana ini saya ada, yang mana ini sama. Kalau itu lalu satu sekali.
After a long delay of many months, India's rice is finally being made available, and people from a few villages in the area have arrived at Jantli to collect their allotted share of it. From Tavir, Jantli is over 10 kilometers away. Following a 2019 decision, the central government has been distributing iron fortified rice to combat malnutrition in regions like Torapur. But because over 34% of tribal population in India suffers from genetic diseases such as thalassemia and sickle cell anemia, the bags that rice is being given from carry an advisory that says people with thalassemia may take under medical supervision. How are these villagers expected to get medical clearance to consume fortified rice when the nearest health facility is over 30 kilometers away? What good does a warning printed in English do in villages like these? In a decision taken in late 2024, bafflingly, the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution announced that fortified rice poses no health risks and had the advisory removed from the bags. Either way, this rice puts vulnerable communities at risk. Before this became the default meal option it is now, there was soup.
ସବୁ ବିଷୟ আছে କାରଣ ମାତ୍ର ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ସେମିତି ଆମେ ବିବାହ ଚାଲୁଛି ଦିନ ଚାଲୁଛି କୋଉ କାମ ଚାଲୁଛି ସେମିତି ଜାଣିବାକୁ କି ନଥାଏ
Sua is a no-fuss one and not very demanding. Unlike rice, Sua has always been widely cultivated under the water. It's cultivated in the plains as well, but only certain type of Sua does well.
ये ଆମର ଏଠି ଡମର ଅଛି ସୁଆ ଅଛି ଦାସ ଅଛି ବଢିଆ ଅଛି ये ଗୋଟେ ପତି ଅଛି ये ଆମର ଅଛି ଅଛି ପ୍ରାୟ ପ୍ରାୟ ଧରती ये ଡମର ଅଛି ବଢିଆ ଅଛି ସୁଆ ଅଛି ये मतलब इसना से ऐसा मान रहे आसे ये रोड ये से क्या करना है इंग्लिश में
Keep a bit quiet, please. Don't hardly understand.
There are important rituals for which only Sua can be used. For instance, the Mangalam ritual.
जब बियाली मासे हमारे सबरे मांगदारा है सेरा मांगदारा में से तो कोटा रानी बोले बोले कोटा साची के वो खाटमो मिसा कोटा रानी के जो छाना बोलाई गोबर सेंटी छाना बोले सारो इधर लाया सेरा पाइबुले हमें से सुआ काटे बैठे सुआ से त्याग सुआ के पूजा करते हैं
सेटा सुआ से करवाले सी दान की तो क्या ना करे
ना आप सुआ से आप को से काम तो ଆମର ମାନ ଅଛି ନା ସେ ମାନେ ନାପି କରି କେଇ ସମୟରେ ମାନକୁ ପଡି ନାପି କରି ସମୟରେ ଆଉ ପୂଜା ସାରିଲା ପରେ ଆ କରନା से तार যদি কোন বছর গীতা হইছে বলি বাবা বাবু পরিবার আছে से वर्ष सम्मान में भक्ति ऋषि से कोई लोग बोलते हैं आने का लोग बोलते हैं और देख से पूजा करो जन वर्ष टिकट में होने से वर्ष कम लीजिए मतलब पूजा नहीं हो पूजा करने के लिए खास तौर से खाना की पूजा तो खास तौर से बारिश खाता नहीं बहुत बड़ी खाने के लिए ज़्यादा नहीं तो ना और ना पूजा
Preparing Sua to eat is hard work. It can be quite literally a daily grind.
गुरु मंडल ये यानी को एक्सटर्नल गुरु मंडल आगे बढ़ते सीधा करे ताकि से बोलते से लता देवी सीधा करके सुपर देवी सुपर मतलब सीधा मतलब गोलवा गोली गोली और कुटुआ कुटुआ होते चालू करते हैं
पार्टी आता है सर पार्टी और तकमानी को मतलब प्यार को किथे को
For the last few years, Adivasis are having to deal with another phenomenon, also, or sorrow, chemical fertilizers.
आगे बढ़ा चाहे ठीक से वही ମାରିଲେ ରହିଲା ଓଷ ମାରିଦେଲେ ମାଟି ମିଶିଗଲା ମାଟି ମିଶିଗଲା ଏସବୁ ଶୁଆ ତମେ କେତେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଆସି ରହିଲା ଶୁଆ 2 ବର୍ଷ ମୁଣ୍ଡିଆ ରଖିଦେବି ବରଷ ଓଷ ମାରିଦେବି ଶୁଆ ଖରାପ ହେଇପାରେ ପଦା ଖରାପ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଯଦି ଶୁଆର ଓଷ ମାରି ନେବେ ସେ ଶୁଆ ଆମର ଠିକ୍ ସେ ରହିବ ସେମିତି ତ ଗୋବର ଖତ ଆମର ଗୋବର ଖତ ପକାଇଲେ ଭଲସେ ଶୁଆ ଲୋକ ତ ଆମ ଗୋବର ଖତ ପକାଉ ନାହିଁ ପକାଇଲେ ମିଶାଇଛି
Ari, semua lagi bisa jasa pakai kali ini. Kaya jasa pakai. Sino pakai? Ari kita boleh ini pakai Aku kecil usut pakai bukan Aku bosan lagi tu. Bukan nanti ada apa sahaja. Bersama dengan sesuatu kisah. Setiap kali kita bersama, siapa Cina, mana Cina, siapa kamu? Aku orang Cina. Lugu betul cara pakai kita ini, tadi itu, siluman kalau kita nanti pergi betul. Ada sih pesan satu yang ketika ibu berkata saya kompor ibu pun satu kali anak dari dan berikut sampai sini dan paten orang seperti nulis di sirkul seperti setiap korban tambah korban pada itu kita dan berbagai kita melakukan hal itu sesuatu
Saya masuk dalam sekalian video Suami
Okay, we come to the end now.
mirroring the life cycle of all animals. Domo Kisani is on his way to prepare his land for the next cycle of crops. Just as his father did before him, and his generations to follow will do after him.
1.5 hours. And now, yeah, we would like to take your questions, your remarks, comments, whatever comes to your mind. Maybe we have an additional second mic. So, who would like to start? Anybody? The most welcome. Senior, junior, whatever.
What motivated you to do research on millet?
We both had worked in Koraput and in Raigada and tribal areas, so we had experienced the importance of millet, especially of Mandya and Sua, during our research. But then in 2018, the United Nations and then the government of Odisha declared the United Nations Year of Millets. And the decision was taken to introduce millets into the PDS. And the reason was that people said during the Green Revolution we somehow lost track of all these valuable other cereals and only focused on wheat, on rice, and on maize. So why not introduce the consumption of millet again? And the Millet Mission was founded here in Odisha. And then something interesting happened. On the one hand, the Millet Mission wanted to increase the consumption of millet among the urban population. So they started these millet Shakti cafes and millet shops and so on. So the target were the educated urban population. But those who had the millets were the farmers, mostly in the countryside, and especially the tribals, which we knew very well. And they became the guardians of millets. And this was such a fascinating development that we thought, wow, we must study what is happening here. So that was, so to say, my reasoning.
No, absolutely. The title, as I mentioned before, this joint project consists of different sub-projects from different fundings, and my project was called Salvage Crops, Savage People, with which I wanted to address a conundrum and a paradox. For whenever like 30 years ago or 25 years ago, when I worked in the hills, I came down to Bhubaneswar, talked to people that live in Koraput. I've been asked, what do you eat up there? Because the cuisine of the Adivasi had a very poor reputation, so to say. And millets was not considered to be a superfood, not at all, right? So all of a sudden this global situation changed, and the crops, millets, so to say, was a term we hear often, an uplift. However, the question we had also is, okay, what about the traditional cultivators? Do they also, because as we all know, they have been looked down upon by many in the mainstream society for as long as anyone can remember. So is there also a similar kind of uplift and recognition of the life and the cultures of the cultivators of millet? So that was one of the questions we had, actually.
Thank you. I was looking at the paradox of that. Now, millet is supposed to be one of the staple food of these tribals of Odisha across India. Now, all at a sudden, Millet Mission comes in, many UN agency comes in, and they made it as a kind of a superfood for the elite people. And so, the tribal people are not consuming anymore in the field. So, what's your observation about it, and how this paradox, affected you?
Yeah, thank you. That's why we called it cereal cultures, because you have one crop like mandia, but mandia means in different societies different things. And this can also change. And when I lived with the Dongria, the PDS had been introduced already. And people had these ratio cards and were given the relatively cheap rice, although they could produce their own food. And this introduction of rice changed their cereal culture, of course, because during festivals in particular, they like to distribute rice rather than millets. Or what also happened, which is described in the film, you take a dano and below you keep some millets and on top you put the rice as the more prestigious item. And so with rice as a culture also, this idea of higher food, of more luxurious food, of better food came, biryani rice, came to this tribal population. And as Professor Berger just mentioned, people in coastal Odisha usually consider the millet as lower food. And if this is told to tribal people all the time, they somehow start thinking themselves that what they eat is not as prestigious as what they are given. And now with the commercialization of millet, especially mandia, again things change. Because indeed now they produce it for commercial reasons. They use fertilizers as described here. They get 35 rupees per kilo by it. They get involved in the mandi system, in markets and so on. So Millet Mission has not only managed to let millets re-emerge on the tables and plates, but has also somehow changed agriculture, market system, and so on. So it's a very complex phenomenon somehow.
Thank you very much, Professor Peter and Professor Ronald. Actually, it is a very interesting film. The whole thing is picturized very nicely. But I think one of the key challenges which has come is the emerging trends of using fertilizers. And I think this remains to a big challenge. I think it is also used in the paddy also. So does your film have any policy implications in terms of some publications, etc.? Are you planning that? And the second part of the question is that whether this emerging trend, now the trend is going on in a reverse direction. Earlier, millet is considered to be lower strata people used to consume. Now it is depicting an elite culture. Because recently I attended one Krisi Mela in Bhubaneswar, and it was a huge mela, festival. And there were lots of stalls were opened especially for the millets. It was everywhere millets, millets, millets. You know, there was noodles, millet drinks, in the sense ki like rice water drink. It is something, the formatted millet drinks in a small bottle, which cost 20 rupees. And also there is millet noodles and chow mein. And also there is millet dough for preparing dosa. So I was really amazed that everywhere it is millets. So it's highly marketized. And also there is another implication is that there is excessive use of fertilizer. So I am saying that the whole purpose actually sometimes is getting diluted also. The marketing culture, the commodification of millets, and along with using pesticides and fertilizers, that also is very alarming. So I am saying that how does your film and the future course of action can address these kind of challenges? So does it cater to the needs of the people for whom it is meant for? So Thank you.
So I understood your question in the sense of, okay, in which way does that affect, or how does our research translate into policy papers, policy advice, right? Very important question. Well, actually, I wish our PhD researchers could be here because they were the ones who did the long-term research in the field, and they would have much more things to say about that. I mean, the two of us, we're academics. Right, so we are not activists. We are not into policies, and this film is one of the products that we intended to to disseminate our insights to a larger audience. And so what we do now, but possibly also in some other context, and in this way also contribute to the general consciousness about the consequences of all those policies. But further than that, I guess we're foreigners, so we're not involved in Indian policies. So we leave that to the Indians, I suggest.
I was questioning about that, how it can have an implications on the policies. Suppose people will keep watching these films and they will be definitely concerned and aware of the use of fertilizers, etc. So I hope that this will always trigger the...
Yes, no, I understand. We have another product which is not completed, which I think we hope also have a similar impact, and the so-called MOOC. I don't know whether you've heard about this, a massive open online course. So it's a 4 weeks online course in which we actually translate our research results for an audience who is interested in relationship between Adivasis and agriculture. For instance, administrators to go to places like Raigad or Koraput in order to engage in policies, to sensitize them about the cultural meanings about millets and other cereals of those areas, in order to reflect or invite them to reflect about the consequences of such policies. That is another tool we offer, so to say.
Thank you, Professor Roland and Professor Peter. I have an observation, because from the starting I saw it as a quest for survival, because millet was something that the tribals used to survive upon. But slowly and steadily, through commercialization and initiatives of the government, it did come to the mainstream, and it has become a source of livelihood now. But what I also understand is that it is very deeply related to health and religion and culture. Why religion and culture? Because this one, I think, is very much not yet looked upon in comparison to commercialization. Because the reason why they are unable to leave millet is not just that it is a part of the commercial process, but it is the part of their worldview about the way they link the past with the present, and the Nike system that they cannot leave the millet because they have to go through their own distinct religious and cultural practices, which is a part of their identity, as we call it, the tribal identity. So I really request you that along with the existing commercial botanical research, if more we can know from the religious and faith perspective, because I want to know more about it.
Thank you. Yeah. As we said, we showed you only 30 minutes out of 90 minutes. When we decided what to show to you, we thought, oh, about the religious part, they know anyhow, all these rituals, we leave that out. But if you watch the whole film, you will see that we exactly focus on this relation between millets and rituals, millets and deities, millets and what you call the worldview or the cosmology. So we put a lot of emphasis on this, but we somehow thought, you know this anyway, so we left that out.
Yes, actually, this aspect of worldview, what you mentioned, this is what Roland and I have been doing anyway all our academic lives. So I wrote 2 books about the relationship about cereals, religion and rituals and worldview. So I'm happy to share that with you. So that is something that as cultural anthropologists, we are very much interested in those dimensions of meanings of those crops, right? And we also have a special issue in a journal where we discuss those meanings. For instance, in my case, I work with the Gutop speaking Gadaba, who are on the one hand wet rice cultivators, as long as anyone can remember. Sora, same way, right? They cultivated terraced wet rice very long, and at the same time on the dry fields, millets. And the valuations of millets and rice are very complementary. So we've discussed that in detail, and we're happy to share that with you if you're interested.
Our special issue is called Cereal Belongings. This is exactly what you mean with identity. Yeah, it's not more than food. Yes. Thank you.
I think the picture was nicely presented, and many things is coming: nature, culture, religion, and their way of life, and the food production, and that link to the market also, and how the people they think about it. Here exactly to me, because I really belong to that area, Raigada, Karaput, and I know that what exactly millet, that mandia and shua, and that all these things are really very today is very hijacked by the commercial market, and they're telling this is what the product is. And somebody is asking to the local area is that, this is what exactly millet. Even those who are producing it, they don't know what is the importance of it. And but they don't want to say themselves what exactly we are producing. But it is the market who is telling us that this is what exactly this is the need of it, and you go for it. So in this way, what is happening? Somehow and others, whatever the identity and culture of the people attached to millet production and shua, that's, it's being hijacked. It is something, the mainstreaming, the very stuff, whatever it was there, the originality, and that's what exactly losing. Even you see the people, the way they are using the modern technology for cultivation, and the real sense of the tribal culture, what exactly it was supposed to, and that is they themselves they are changing, because outside they are changing themselves. So we all are trying to do something what they want, but exactly what they want, that we are not doing. So it's not my question, but somehow some invisible things is there, and that is not the visibly it is coming out. That what exactly it is. So that's what exactly we're supposed to see from the movie. What exactly is missing that should come out. Yeah.
We would also very much encourage the students to ask questions. Perhaps some questions from the back. Here. You can also ask about the process of the fieldwork of the PhD students, whatever comes to your mind.
First of all, it's an honor itself to be here and say something in front of you. Our teachers already asked important questions about your film. I would like to ask about what were the challenges you faced while filming their lifestyle, their social life about sale.
The challenges of filming, you mean?
Yeah, the challenges
of filming, yes. Yes, I think, again, I would wish our PhD researchers would be here, because we have not been in the field when the filmmaker visited. I think one challenge always is that ideally the filmmaker should stay in the village for a long period of time, right? Basically like the researcher, so for months on end. But this was technically not possible. That means the filmmaker stayed in each village 3 weeks, then 3 weeks in another village. And I think the product, I'm happy with the product, but of course, that means you're present in a certain village at a certain moment of time, in a certain moment in the agricultural cycle, and that is one limit of the film, I think.
Yeah, okay. I just have to go there somehow.
You want to add something, Roland?
No, I don't want to add something. I identified somebody. You looked as if you have a question, no? I saw that in your eyes.
Here was one question also in front. Here.
I am Chandan Jal from Sociology Department. Sir, my question is, sir, why you choose this topic, this specific topic? And
yeah, we answered it a bit already. Maybe another reason is, how do you study cultures, right? And you can use some abstract concept. I want to study Dharma or Artha or something, yeah? But then it becomes very difficult. When you choose something very concrete, like food, like water, like housing or something, it is easier to begin with something and then see what is the religious significance of millets, what is the political, what is the social importance. So in general, we would advise as anthropologists, think of something concrete when you frame your research question. And millet was just a very good start. First, we wanted to do something on identity, as you said. But identity is so abstract, so inconcrete. But when you study millets, then you come indeed to identities. Yeah? So that was somehow also why we selected millets. Yes. There was and there. Also.
Okay. My question is on looking at this millet aspect of tribal economy. We often confuse with two important concepts, that is farming and peasants. So farmers are very much, their economy in farming is associated with the term called peasant instead of farmer. So while the international organization entry into looking at millets as a way to connect with the idea of farmer,
yeah.
And how do you see that whether it is looking back the peasants to be a peasant rather than transferring them to as a farmer, because farming is something much more commercialized and oriented towards distributing other instead of their self, production. So this in contemporary time, this dichotomy has been neglected.
Yeah.
Now there is a so much contradiction. So we often forgotten the concept of peasant, and this idea need to be bring back while looking at the tribals. And second thing, when we look at millets is not something associated directly or confined to the tribals. It is a stereotypical way to look at that millet is equal to tribal. There are other communities also, they are associated with the millets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
how do you respond to this?
Just a
approach?
quick answer maybe. You say make a difference between peasants and farmers. We would call it perhaps the subsistence farmers and the commercial farmers. And what we are observing everywhere here in the Adivasi areas is that subsistence becomes less and less, while this commercialization becomes more and more. For example, with cashew crops. For example, with coffee crops. high-yielding seeds. So the movement is definitely towards the combination of tribal agriculture with the market, with the commerce, with money also. In a subsistence economy, you barter, give one crop for the other without money. I don't know, I can't say if this can be stopped, as you also said today, what can be done in a sustainable future. We are observing this. It has different effects. Some you may find good, some you may find bad. We are not the ones who are judging this. We don't live here. You have to. Yeah, of course, the society is changing, as you mentioned. Yeah.
Community level, collective way of enterprise rather than individual. When market is entering, that leading to the individual profit.
Yes,
instead of community benefit. And that is very much challenging. And whatever this international organization are doing, in one hand it's good, but the hidden agenda or motive need to be understood. As a researcher,
No,
we should not operate just like a bankers.
You should not like?
Operates like a bankers. World Bank.
No,
Instead of as a researcher need to be, different compared to the international organization or corporate enterprise.
Yes.
Because all of them are, these days are connected with each other.
Yes.
And the motive is running behind, with their ideology.
Thank you so much, sir. A beautiful study. I am Hudananda Sunani, a full-time research scholar from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. And my PhD title also about of Dongriya Kand community. And you also did your project Dongriya Kand community. Sir, you in your studies I have noticed you just focus only tribals area and the tribals economy, not to Dalit, because there are many villages. Yes, there are many villages and many tribals area here. Dalit also cultivate and produce the millet items. But in your study, the Dalits agriculture and Dalit cultivation and produce are all absent. So why you focus only tribals and not to Dalit?
No, thank you very much. Actually, we often talk not only about Adivasis, but of rural farmers. And by this, we mean both ST and SC, because we are well aware of the fact that farming is, of course, also done by people belonging to the SC category. And our teacher was also promoting the idea that ST and SC do not belong to different societies, so to say. One is tribal and one is caste, but that they are together form the rural population. So maybe this came out somehow wrongly, but you can be assured we are aware of this. Yes.
Sir, I have a question. Could you please explain it further? What do you mean by serial belonging? The very term you have used it. Then after getting the answer, I will ask another question, please.
Yes. Actually, there is also a practical side to that title, because we organized, we were a panel in a conference, and the conference overarching title was about belonging identity. So we thought that somehow, as panel conveners, we have to address this aspect of belonging too. But so that's the pragmatic side of the answer. But as Roland already said, belonging means attachment, right? Emotional attachment, intellectual attachment to something. And that is what I think this is what the film also strongly brings out. We couldn't see all of it. There's one sequence where they talk about Mandya, about about Mandya Page, and the way they talk about it, you see that how important that is to them. And I know it also from my research among the Gadaba that millet is really associated with life, right? For instance, I witnessed a couple of times that people close to death are being fed with millet gruel, with Mandya Page, as a last-ditch attempt of recovery. So it's really very much life-giving. So as we said before, and also as you mentioned with regards to the worldview, millets is much more than just a matter of nutrition. Yes, it's very nutritious, but it's also a sense of belonging, of identity. This is what we mean by that.
I think, sir, my observation as far as it goes, throughout the movie and throughout the discourse, we are using cereal belonging or millet, but we are consciously or unconsciously, we are avoiding the word food culture of tribals. Food culture of the tribal. Food culture. Yeah. Millet is one of the part of the food culture of tribal, and we know it, how it is integrated into their food culture. In the movie, and in your discourse also, and discussion also, and answer also, I don't know what makes us forget the idea of food culture of tribal.
I'm not sure. I mean, whether we forget it or not, it's also a matter of words we choose to describe a certain phenomenon. We discussed millets here and rice for a time. We mentioned worldviews, we mentioned belonging, we mentioned identity. So there are so many words we have in our jargon. Yes, food culture. So that is definitely, I mean, mind you, the title of our project is Cereal Cultures. So yes, it's all about, then we can discuss what do we mean by culture. So that would be another session, I guess, right? So yes, of course, it's about food culture. It's the way the ideas people have about food. It's the practices associated with food. It's the rules. How do you eat? How do you cook millets? How do you share it? Who eats what? All this is part of the food culture, as I understand it, and all this is very much part of our research too. So just that the fact that we have not mentioned the word food culture does not mean we're not studying it.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to know. Another question is that millet mission is externally brought into the tribal land from government perspective. It is state induced. And we already know that the tribal, they are having millet culture. So how they accepted it? There might be a cultural tension, right?
How they accepted what?
The government induced policy with regard to millet. How they accepted it?
The government introduced.
Yeah. Was it so easy for the tribal to accept the outside policy from the state? Because they see the state as external force, outsider, not insider.
Yeah.
How they accepted it? Did they think that state is a part of their community or not? Or some kind of external agency? It is a cultural shock, no doubt about them. For them.
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe. Please, no. Again, as he mentioned, it would be good to have our PhD students here who really worked with the people. My impression was during my fieldwork, which is 20 years back, so I can't say about today, that the Dongria accepted this PDS rice because it was some addition to their own production. It helped them through hard times when they did not have much themselves. Because as a peasant, during the rainy season, you often do not have much to eat. And then the rice helps. And there was a certain respect to the state officials. So they welcomed them, they appreciated them, they felt they are representing a higher power also. But on the other hand, they also told me, we are the kings here in the mountains. We are the Raja Loko. And we produce millets on the mountains. And again, the belonging comes in here. We are the millet people because this we produce ourselves on this land. So I think on the one hand, they were happy to be in this relationship with the state to overcome certain hard times. On the other hand, they wanted to show their own respect for their culture and society. Would be my answer to that. But you wanted to say something.
I just wanted to, and I don't know how far justifiable it is. See, the thing that the whole idea of the government was to enhance or highlighting the importance of millet. That is in any case good thing. It's a positive step definitely. So what happens in the process, something gets more highlighted, something gets out of track. So digitalization. Now every family has 10 mobile phones. So digitalization happened because to have some internet connectivity every family should have. Now it is over digitalization. So similarly the millet is being highlighted. It's a positive step because nobody was bothering about the importance of millet. So these steps definitely have helped. It means there are a few stakeholders are involved. One is the small workers, the farmers or the producers, the market, the civil society organizations are coming in a very big way. I think in many marketplaces, all these NGO names are being published everywhere. This NGO is promoting this kind of food, that kind of food. So overall millet is a healthy food, right? So there is nothing to worry about because only thing that being concerned about the use of fertilizers that is happening for every kind of cereals. That has to be monitored. And second thing is that the real producers should be acknowledged. I think it's not easy to have such kind of films with two people from outside the country. I mean, our Indians do not do such kind of in-depth studies, especially with not knowing the language, but they have beautifully projected it. So this is the whole purpose, nothing else.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Professor Roland and Peter, sir.
Okay. Maybe some more students I would like to encourage. I want to know what you are thinking. Anybody here? Now you're afraid when I'm coming, right? There's somebody, right? Oh, wonderful. Can you? Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am Sri Prakash, presently pursuing a master's in anthropology. So my question is that in matter of social science, India is reached to be research. So, the many students prefer means India usually has a culture, Parsi culture, you can say, to go abroad for further studies. Since our India is reached to be research, so what do you want to say about this? Even though India is reached to be research, but still they prefer to go abroad to study. Means social science students, researchers, they prefer to go abroad for further studies. But though India already has the field to be research, so why do we actually need to go abroad to study?
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So the question is, when social scientists could do research here, because there are many things to do research here in India, why do they go abroad and do studies there, right? That's the question?
Yes, I want your view about this.
Yes.
Well, speaking of anthropology, the classical view of anthropology was that you have to go to faraway places, to faraway islands, deserts, I don't know, totally alien culture, preferably untouched by civilization or history. Well, as we all know, this was a fiction also basically, because most human cultures have been in contact historically, and as also Dr. Nivedita Nath was mentioning, cultures are always changing. You don't have to go very far to do social science research. You can just go next door. In anthropology, what we stress is, my minimal definition of anthropology is understanding through difference. right? Sometimes we assume what is different is difficult to understand, but I think the trick of anthropology is that we use this difference as a window of opportunity to increase understanding, to enable understanding. But then again, you don't have to go very far. Just there's so much cultural diversity around in just right where we are, or anywhere in India. So that means the distance does not matter. But I think, from my anthropological view, what does matter is that you study something. You can study your own culture, and many people have done that. But then you have to also perform the trick of distance yourself from the culture as a member and become a researcher, and that is not so easy. So I think the aspect of cultural difference is important because that enables you to view things from a different perspective. It will be an outsider perspective, but of course then when you live with the people you want to study long enough, you become kind of liminal creature, half inside, half outside. So, but I think the question of distance doesn't really matter. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Something I definitely encourage you, if possible, to go to Europe or to America or to Australia, even if you think, oh, there's so much to do here, because you can learn another academic culture, which I also did. I went from Germany to England, for example, to study there. I came to Sambalpur University and got to know your local academic system. And I think that broadened my mind. So whenever you have the chance, go at least for some months. That is helpful. And then you come back and you see your own society somehow differently, I would suggest. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yeah. Good question, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. But, yes, please. It's done, yeah.
So, in America, family farming is dying. In America, family farming is dying. Like, family farming. So, it is all corporate. Today, it is all corporate farming, but the family farming, the new generation, they are taking up corporate jobs.
Yes.
So the older generation still trying to manage, but after they die, those farms will be gone.
Gone.
So do you see a similar trend in India?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what we have been told recently goes into this direction that, especially in the tribal areas, more and more people leave the fields and go for construction works here and there, take up different jobs from Mumbai to Chennai to Kolkata. They get exposed to different other ideas, ways of living, and then perhaps they may not come back and continue this. Also, tribal education may lead to this, that because they do not grow up, especially when they stay in residential schools, they do not grow up in their families anymore, in the agricultural landscape. So what do they know about farming, really? Yeah? When I heard this, I thought of my own society, where in the past it was regulated in a nice way. When there were several brothers, usually the oldest brother took over the farm. The second brother could go to military. The third one became a priest, for example, or the fourth one did something else. So there was a job sharing within the family, making sure that at least one person continued that. But this has also stopped, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, a big congratulations to both of you for the tremendous job. My question is regarding the tribal food culture. Though when we are discussing about millet and we generalize, as some of our faculty members and some scholars also ask, why we consider this is a tribal food culture, right? But I want to know what do you see when you are working in millets. So, though this is basically, we can say the majorly, yeah, right, majorly practices by the tribal culture of the India, right? So, is there the similarity between German and in India, the same practices like food hierarchy system? Because always in India we see food, the millet culture is as inferior and the rice culture is superior, as you already told. So, is there a similarity, the practices in German and in India? Did you see such kind of behavior?
What you mean by food hierarchy, like between
Food
rice
hierarchy
and millet?
means food hierarchy means those who are having the rice culture, they themselves consider as a higher caste or higher class or higher the hierarchy. Those who are this is the mindset of the Indian society. So those who are having millets, they consider them they are lower caste community or lower marginal groups.
Yeah. Well, in Germany, there are very strong regional food cultures. And I think we have to extend our scope a bit, not to talk only about food, but to include drink as well. Because that is also very important with regard to identity. And you might have noticed that the film started in the song about alcoholic beverages, about drink, right? And in many parts of Germany, beer is very important. So you have, certainly in the past, you had thousands of breweries that are 800 years old, and every region would say, our beer is the best, talking about food and drink hierarchies. So I think it's highly regionalized, but I don't think in general we can say in German food culture that a certain crop is higher than another crop. I don't see that really. I don't know, Roland.
Yeah, I would rather say the form of cooking is different. So when my mother used to cook, she put everything in one pot, like your pressure cooker, yeah? And then you steam it for an hour and you eat this kind of thick soup, and that was what we daily had. But at the weekends, my father usually cooked. And he prepared a larger meal with several courses and a lot of meat in it and taking a lot of time. And that was the festive food. So I would say this is a major difference, but it's not like one crop is higher than the other. It's rather the way of cooking. With alcohol, it's indeed a bit different. When you have If you go to a pub, you drink with your friends beer. That's the usual. But if you have a celebration, you have champagne. This is the high drink, yeah, for the festive occasion. So in that sense, we also have such hierarchies, definitely.
May I add, during my stay in 2011, 10-11, in Freiburg, it was probably in the March or May that the Gruken, isn't Gruken, right? It is a kind of pumpkin, right? The length one crop, it has got insecticide, kind of, it was damaged, okay. And I found through the newspaper as well as Gruken, yeah. And my landlady also, she said, because it was not transferred, it was not exported, because no country is exporting it, because it is fully, partially insecticide, okay. So it was become a culture that because in order to save the farmers, the German started eating. They cut the half and whichever is best part, they cooked it. Because that part I have seen in the newspaper as well as I have experience in that part, okay. So that is one, promoting our own culture and serving the people. The other thing what I have seen in the same the lady's house is that she has collected nearly 9 or 10 kind of crops from African countries. And weekly we used to have once, like our millet. She said that we have to eat weekly once because so that we will feel that how food of other culture feels. And as you remember, because once in a week, potato is a national food kind of thing, right? So that's the way, promoting the culture as well as saving the farmers. Probably this is what that I have seen to supporting, him.
Yes, actually my question is not completed. The thing is, what I wanted to know as an anthropologist, how could be this the millet culture and the millets? There are 9 kinds of millets. More than 9 millets, but in Odisha, they have listed 9 kind of millets like Mandia, Kangu, Jona, Gonga. There are several, okay. So these 9 millets have huge proteinous food. WHO also decided these millets have very calories, many kind of vitamins. Okay, still this millet food culture is not came into the mainstream society. Okay, my question is, though Odisha government is trying in the name of millet mission, started by Odisha previous government, but it has not started in the entire India. As an anthropologist, what do you say? What is your opinion? How this millet culture could be, brought into the mainstream society without disturbing the PDS system also? I think sometimes PDS is disturbing the millet culture. If you have seen. So by balancing the both, how to promote, preserve, and practices the sustainable millet culture as an anthropologist? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. I mean, I talked a lot to people from Millet Mission, and they tried so many things. For example, they collected millet recipes and spread the recipes. Then they made mother-children days. So they told the mothers how to use millet and give that to their children. Then they had the initiative to introduce millets in high cuisine restaurants in Bhubaneswar to uplift, so to say, the status of millet to high cuisine. Oh, so many initiatives, yeah. But I don't know, what they have these conventions. So they invite to Bhubaneswar many people, have a big convention in order to inform about the good aspects of millets and so on. But my impression is the success is not so big.
Who eats millets on a daily basis? Can I see some hands? Who eats millets on a daily basis? So that means policies.
Yeah. But yes, okay. So you see, yeah, it's not so easy. In many ways, I can't tell you the right way. Yeah.
I also started out at the beginning talking about the discrepancy between the status of the reputation of the Adivasis and of the millets. And Roland, you just mentioned the way in the Millet Mission, how they try to spread recipes. My PhD student, our PhD student, Nidhi Trivedi, who also worked on the film, she visited the Adivasi Mela, and she told me that the way Adivasi eat the millets products doesn't figure in the Adivasi Mela. That means, again, they have taken the millets and made millet mandia or ragi cookies or whatnot, but the local way of eating the food is not recognized.
I mean, it's not a question, it's just like out of interest. Have you visited the Millet Mission Cafe here? You should try the mandia pitha and the sweet dishes.
Oh, yes, I have. And I heard the police, when they now have meetings, cookies and not the other cookies anymore. I found that interesting.
Can I make one observations?
Sorry?
Can I make one observations?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very, academic discussions till this point. I would just like to make a funny observations.
Yeah.
My question is, Dr. Peter, why are you not wearing a wristwatch? And Professor Ronald is wearing a wristwatch. The question is that why I'm asking the wristwatch. Yeah. So, this questions looks very funny. But I had observations while looking at the film that many people in the tribal belt, in the Highlanders, basically in Odisha, because I have visited few places, they wear a watch. And throughout the movie, you can see many a times, like they wear a watch. So from a perspective of understanding a society, if I look at this culture, like wearing a watch, it actually differs. Like for me, the way I value time is very different from a Highlanders who look at time in a very different perspective.
Yes.
So throughout your field work, and I know there's many observations by us, like when we visit the field, we can see people wearing watch, right? So they are very much into this culture, they are very much into this nature. So how do they value time in their society?
Yeah.
From your observations. And it was very clear from the film that many people, they were wearing watch because they don't value the way we value time. So what is their conception? Because they don't believe on, to look at the watch, it's over, like I'll go and rest. So they do not have that culture. So why do they wear a watch all the time?
Yeah. Why? But that's a good question. I think it's a status symbol. Maybe I tell you 20 years ago when I came to the Dongryakond and lived there, I sometimes brought them a watch as a present. My observation was one day the watch was with this person, 3 days later the person had given it to another one, and after a week it was again with somebody, so they shared the watch I had given to them. It was a status symbol and a gift. But when it comes to time, I once presented a paper called Where There Are No Watches. Because the Dongria do not need watches to measure time. They say, Kukura dakilabele, it's the time of the cock's crow, right? Or they say, we meet at that time. They show to the sun, right? And my own observation was what was structuring the day was the solpogocho, the salap tree. Because usually Dongria, men, children, also sometimes women, go 3 times a day to the salap tree. So it is in the morning, at midday, and in the evening. And that structured their day, that they were drinking together under this tree, and then they go to work again, they go home. So they did not need watches. The watches are only there to say, I have a friend who gave me a watch. I know somebody from Germany who presented a watch. That would be my answer to it.
Well, thank you so much for your questions. I think we have another presentation.
I think we had a very nice and rigorous discussion, and Professor Garada was telling that I am feeling this hall as if it is a hall of JNU, because in JNU we used to do this kind of discussion. So thank you so much for your idea of showing this film and also having interaction, because always we were doing a one-way kind of meetings. Only the resource persons sitting on the dais would be telling and all the audience will be listening. So there is a change, and thank you so much for this brilliant idea, and we'll continue. Anything? Okay. So, pilane enjoy kalla? Badhiya lagila na? We'll do this kind of interaction now onwards. Right. But only thing is that mu bhabuthili chua mane tike besi interact karibo. So the students interacted less, but anyway I am expecting that from the next meeting maybe you will be asking questions, right? Faculty mane sabu question pacharle ki nahi? One after another, one after another. And you should also have the same kind of enthusiasm and interest. So, and now our students of anthropology department, I think, had been to do their fieldwork in Urladani, in Rampur block, Madanpur Rampur block, and they want to show their film, Supriya. Yeah. And 25 years back, I had studied Kandul Parabema Cons Raigada. They have also studied the same thing.
I think like millet, Professor Ronald and Professor Peter have become very popular. Like the millet is becoming popular. So doing research on this. And I think Vice Chancellor Madam will give one millet kheer maybe tomorrow for lunch.
Okay.
Come under Uladani Gram Panchayat of Madanpur Club. The pond and with the knowledge, knowledge offered to the teacher of gratitude and respect. Gone marriage is an important social and cultural event among the Gone tribes, community of India. It is not only the union of individuals but also coming together. Relatives and promote unity within the community. The marriage usually includes traditional song, dance, and ritual performed according to ancestral custom. The bride and groom were traditional artists and elders dressed to perfect for a happy and prosperous life. Community fests and celebrations are an important part of the event. Here, we carried out participant observations as anthropologists during the marriage ceremony. Most songs talk about forest, animals, farming, race, and love and family life.
Thank you. On the eve of World Anthropology Day, also we conducted essay, quiz and debate competitions among anthropology students. And to just encourage them, we are giving certificates. And I would request Dr. Peter Berger, Professor Ronald Hardenberg, and Nivedita Madam to encourage the students by distributing certificates. Please to the stage. On essay competition, third prize goes to Shubhalakshmi Mishra. Shubhalakshmi Mishra, please. Second prize to Hina Majhi. अरे ऐसा यार ये certificate just give them certificates. Yeah, third prize. Yeah. Third prize, Shubhalakshmi Mishra, an essay competition. Second prize goes to Hina Majhi, essay competition, Hina Majhi. First prize, Trupti Moyi Das. Trupti Moyi Das. I think, Trupti, yeah, please, come first. In quiz competition, Gangaram Naik won third prize. Gangaram Naik, please. Second prize goes to Ramakant Pod. Ramakant Pod. Ramakant the quick. Ramakant Pod, second prize in quiz. First prize goes to Biswajit Das. Biswajit Das, please. In debate competition, third prize won by two scholars, two students, Siddharth Bhoi, Supriya Kisan. Siddharth Bhoi, Supriya Kisan. Yeah, this way one. Second prize goes to Smruti Rekha Chaudhary. Smruti Rekha Chaudhary. First prize, Sarmili Panigrahi. first prize in Sarmili Panigrahi. We are also encouraging students who had a high score in attendance. So I will call the names: Siprakash, PG final year; K. Praveen Kumar, PG first year; Gangaram Nayak, UG final year; Lipi Biswal, UG second year; Swati Maji, UG first year. Please come to the dais.
Swati.
Thank you so much. I now request Birendra Suna sir to kindly propose vote of thanks.
समस्त को जुहार बहुत बढ़िया बढ़िया आकार आज वर्ल्ड एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल डेटा सरीगला ता सहित आमर प्रथम दिन जो इंटरनेशनल सोशियोलॉजिकल सेमिनार सरीगला द फिल्म विषय टिके खाली दुई पद कहि प्रोफेसर गोरडा विल अंडरस्टैंड एंड ऑल्सो Roland and Peter will understand. Also, where is Kumud is there? Kumud Nayak, and probably no, you are Kumud Panigrahi. Okay, so that's so cinema ta बहुत निको निको ही रहला, बहुत सुंदर ही रहला, और बहुत मजा भी आयला. ठीक है तो आमे कोरापुटिया लोग आमे देशिया कोइसु हला तो हमको आमे तो पूरा बुझी पारलु. As a sociologist, beyond academic, I feel little cynical. As a sociologist, not an anthropologist, I feel little cynical. Why? Because for the academic purpose, we find it is better. But as Toptomasi madam and I also thought about that, what about the policy part? That's the biggest question, because if we are not proposing any policy and if we are not protecting their culture in support to our research, then it becomes like a kind of YouTuber. Many of the YouTubers also doing nowadays this kind of thing. So I feel very, kind of thing. The lecture was quite interesting, and the beginning was quite good. Culture is not static. It was really so interesting, as our Vice Chancellor Madam has said. And habitats are changing, and also people's culture also changing. The beautiful song, "I'm Not Your Data," that's really, really heart-touching, and also I feel very, very, just 2 days ago, I was trying to find how many data we can have in our India. And you cannot imagine, from birth to death, there are millions of data. And that data can be used for any purpose, either by Elon Musk or by Dr. Birendra Suna. So it is a context and coverage condition where we can use the data. So that's really, really a very, thing. Dr. Mohana sir, who has proposed very interesting thing, that is study of ourselves. It's a really important, because if we are studying others, then how much we are engaged with ourselves. As early morning, our chief guest has presented the paper relating to life. So it is really connect with that. Now, anthropological data is sufficient or not sufficient. That is again a million-dollar question. That's what I have observed. And after that, the film, many questions were arises, and one of our colleague from economics department, he proposes very interesting thing. Often he says about this is community property. Chitra Sen Bhuye, he is there, who has asked about the wristwatch, okay. And again about wristwatch and the chief guest of the morning, also we know that it is also, as you said, it is a symbol. Whenever I go to some other people's marriage or ceremony, I ask somebody's wristwatch. Tomar ghadi tige mate deithibo ki mu amko jaga re jauche, hela. Tomar shirt tige deithibo ki amko jaga re jauche. And this is what happened, exchange. Now, even in the YouTube, it is started by a student that they are borrowing their dresses. Can you give your dress for a cultural program into XYZ? So this has happened. So the community property is gradually decreasing, and that has to be protected with various methods. Okay. Autonomy by Kumud Chandra Pranigrahi, who has asked, that is culture and respect, that we have to respect the culture. And very interesting thing, that is understanding field differently, probably you said, right? So that part is very interesting, that we need to understand the field in what context, what I'm studying. So I'd like to thank you, Department of Anthropology, for organizing this World Anthropological Day. And we as a part of this program, I think 2023 we are also part of, but in 2004 we are not part of, okay. And then it was Professor Premanand Panda who was presented, so I remember. And I'd like to thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam, who is in charge, and very meticulously we have organized today's program. The students of anthropology are very, very sincere. Very sincere, because last time also I have seen they have given award to students, those who are participating, those who are coming regularly to classes, they are getting certificates. But this culture yet to start to my department, okay. That's the problem, okay, because sociology students have some kind of, I don't know, okay. Now, and I'd like to thank Professor Peter, Professor Roland. Still, I have not discussed about my stay in Germany, okay, and my stay in Northern Ireland, Belfast. And we are sorry that they had little problem on the first night in Bhavanipatna. The same I had in Belfast, okay, and and but somehow next day it was free. So I feel very sorry for that, okay, because that is our duty, that we supposed to inform the administration, but we haven't. Hope you are staying properly and you are having a good time. I would like to thank you, Madam Murmu, who is still mornings is sitting here, and we know that there is a little bit arrangement problem. I'd like to thank you, Sri Sanjay Kumar Das, who is my kaka indeed, okay. He's my kaka. So he is in a tour, world tour, probably nearly 50-70 countries he is visiting. Every year he is visiting to one country to other. So I felt connecting to our theme, societies in 21st century, he would be the person who can speak how the world is looking from his point of view, okay. But the one thing I have discovered, even I can go for yoga as, I can go for the classes, that is what our plan. But unfortunately, in India, this is the invention of India, but unfortunately we could not practice it, okay. I have yoga mat. I have started for 7 days, then I just kept it aside. Okay, that's the problem with us. So I'd like to thank you, Kaka, for coming all the way from USA. And he is very silent. Okay, you can see throughout the day he's sitting and he's listening us. And as a software engineer, how he has blended with the health aspect, that is appealing to us, because we feel that health is nothing. But when a software engineer understands about the life, about the health, it is our duty also that we need to go for that kind of lifestyle. Thank you for sitting all the morning, and we are also invited him to just watch for a cultural program our students are performing, because staying in USA, and again, he comes once in a year for maybe 4 or 5 days. So I have requested him just stay for a cultural program and he can enjoy. Okay, and he's happy, and I feel that he has spent his time. Otherwise, he would have been home, and I don't know how he would have spent his time. And I'd like to thank you, the keynote speaker, Professor Rabindra Kumar Goroda. He has come. This is first time probably in this university. He has kept our request, and he has lots of work in Utkal University. He is HOD of sociology department. You can understand. And also he is a chairperson of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar chair. So he has lots of work. He has left everything and he has come here for a day. And we'd like to thank you him for staying with us for this. And last but not least, I would like to thank my colleague, Dr. Rajkishore Mahana, who has arranged very nicely today's this World Anthropological Day. And we have good, symbiotic and harmonious relation with anthropology as well as sociology. And the first HOD of sociology is Madam Madhulika Sahu, who is sitting. After becoming this university, not college, she is the first HOD for us. Okay, so I am the second. So, Madam, thank you for coming and staying here and enjoying this. And we have Dr. Baba Mishra sir here, and sir is busy with. So, sir is our syndicate member and also subject expert. We heartily welcome you, sir, and would like to invite you for tomorrow valedictory session for sociology seminar. And I'd like to request sir to share a few minutes with us on World Anthropological Day. Sir, please.
Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Madam Dr. Nivedita Nath, distinguished German delegates, distinguished scholars and investigators, friends, students of Anthropology Department of Ma Manikeswari University. It is of course a rare privilege of mine. I was engaged in the recruitment process, but I had a chance to spend few minutes with you to share my thought again with you. I am a student of history. Then I had certain access to archaeology as well as museology also. Here in this Ma Manikeswari University, previously it was known as Government Autonomous College, Bhavani Patna, we had opened archaeology and museology in history department as well as in collaboration with the then anthropology department. Already before the inception of archaeology in history department, I remember the name of one of my colleague of anthropology, some Nayak, who had collected best type of Paleolithic hand axe from different zones, eco-zones of Kalahandi. It was he again who had obtained, sold, and started a museum in anthropology. When I first joined in Government Autonomous College, I was inspired by that man actually of anthropology department. Whenever I was getting a leisure, I was running to anthropology department. Particularly, my interest was to see their little collection, especially stone tools of prehistoric age. And there was also a skeleton, a real skeleton, not a duplicate one. And therefore, at last, we undertook the archaeological survey of Kalahandi. Systematically, we did this exploration from one part of Kalahandi to another part. Thereafter, we obtained major research project from University Grants Commission on the topic urbanization in Tel River Valley. Again, we got enough opportunity to explore the banks and the basins of River Tel from the beginning of its origin from Tarapur near Pudagar of Nabarangpur district up to Sonpur, where River Tel joins with the river Mahanadi. And surprisingly, we found not less than 30 to 31 urban centers, urban settlements on either bank of the River Tel. Huge amount of cultural relic from prehistoric Stone Age up to the latest early medieval period we collected. And we have started a museum also in this university. Thereafter, we did one excavation for the first time. A college of Odisha obtained license from Archaeological Survey of India to do the excavation operation. And we successfully did so. And the comprehensive detail of that excavation we released on the occasion of the 45th annual session of Odisha History Congress, which was inaugurated here on 30th January 2026, very recently. So, Kalahandi region, particularly in particular, and Western Odisha, not only Western Odisha, entire Odisha, even Eastern India in general, we may say, are full of anthropological elements, archaeological properties, ethnography, ethnobotany, and many other details and many other things. Recently, one of my paper, uh, archaeological sites vis-a-vis ethnomedicine, case study of Gorohandi and Dukri Chanchada, appeared in the famous archaeological journal Puratattva, volume 53. There we have tried to prove that in the remote past, during pre and proto-historic period even, these and people were using the medicine. These and people were using their traditional skill to extract medicine from the leaf, from the creeper, from the tree, and from many other animate beings. Thus, my point is to inspire the students of anthropology not only to study the tribal elements of the district, give your little attention towards archaeology also, towards ethnography also, towards other dimensions of anthropology, sociology, as well as archaeology, even historical. We have also incorporated in our historical study, ethnography, anthropological data, like the folklore. Of course, we have certain reservation to utilize the folklore as historical evidence. But we have adopted anthropology, archaeology, and other allied branches for the study of history. So, thank you very much. This is an extempore speech. I was engaged in another work. Suddenly, Madam requested me to come. Then I said, definitely. Definitely, I am not a bureaucrat. First of all, I am a teacher, then a researcher. So I must go to this seminar hall, to this August gathering. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. ଆପଣ ନବରଙ୍ଗପୁର ପୋଡ଼ାଗଡ଼ କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ନା? ନବରଙ୍ଗପୁର ପୋଡ଼ାଗଡ଼ କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି। ଓ ସାର୍ ସେଇଠି ମୁଁ ଆଉ ସଞ୍ଜୟ ସାର୍ ଆମେ ଦୁଇ ଜଣ ଯାକ ସେଇଠିକାର ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟ ହେଲା। ତ ପୋଡ଼ାଗଡ଼ର ଏଇ ପାରରେ ଆମ ଘର, ପୋଡ଼ାଗଡ଼ର ସେଇ ପାରରେ ଯୋଉ ଯାହା ବି ଅଛି ହେଲା। ତ ମୁଁ ତ ଜାଣିନଥିଲି, ଆଜି ହିଁ ଶୁଣିଲି ଆପଣ ମାନେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ବି କରିଥିଲେ, ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ସାର୍। କାରଣ ଉମରକୋଟ ହଁ ଆଜ୍ଞା। ତ ପୋଡ଼ାଗଡ଼ର ଟିଟ୍ ବିଟ୍ ଆମେ ବୁଲିଛୁ, ମାନେ ଏମିତି ବି ହେଇଛି ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ପାଣି ବି ମିଳିଲା ନାହିଁ, ଏମିତି ବି ଅବସ୍ଥା ହେଇଯାଇଛି ହେଲା। ତ thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Sociology and Anthropology Department, sir, we would like to felicitate you on this eve, that is international seminar as well as World Anthropological Day. I would like to request Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam and also Sri Sanjay Kumar Das and Professor Peter and Professor Roland, please do the honor, please. Come. John is all there. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Even you are in a so busy schedule, you arrived and you have encouraged our student and faculties. Really, it is a great moment for us. Thank you so much for and bless us and keep on coming to our as a syndicate member for our university. Thank you so much, sir. With this, today's first day seminar as well as World Anthropological Day is over. I would like to request all participants and also you invite your friends for the cultural evening, Rajmataj. The name is Rajmataj. Okay, now you have to go through the dictionary meaning. Okay. Thank you so much all for your patience.